Henry, watch your step. The words had barely left my mouth when I heard it. A sharp, ugly crack. Not the sound of wood snapping. Not stone breaking. It was the sound of a body hitting something hard and unforgiving. My grandson, Ethan, had slipped. His boot slid on the loose gravel near the edge of the cliff. The exact same spot where, an hour earlier, I had seen Tyler messing with the railing bolts while his wife, Olivia, kept watch. At the time I had told myself I was being paranoid. Old soldiers see threats everywhere. Turns out I was not paranoid enough. I lunged forward. My 68-year-old legs screamed in protest, but I did not care. I reached for Ethan as he pitched forward. For half a second, our fingers touched. He looked straight at me. His eyes were wide, but not with fear. With understanding. He knew. He knew this was no accident. Then gravity took him. A second crack followed. That one was me. Someone slammed into me from behind, hard. My shoulder smashed against the rocky ground, and white-hot pain shot through my chest like a lightning bolt. I could not pull in a full breath. Through blurred vision, I saw them. Tyler stood a few feet away. Beside him was his wife, and Ethan's girlfriend of 3 years, Olivia. They were staring down over the edge. Their faces looked shocked. Just not shocked enough. "Oh my God," Olivia screamed. It sounded practiced. Too polished. Like a bad actress in a low-budget movie. "Mr. Walker. Ethan. Somebody help." I tried to push myself up, but my left arm refused to move. Broken collarbone, maybe ribs too. My chest felt crushed, like somebody had parked a truck on it. Then I heard it. A groan from below. Ethan. Alive. The cliff was not straight down. It dropped about 40 feet along a steep rocky slope with patches of scrub brush before falling another 30 feet to the ravine floor. He must have snagged himself on something. "Call 911. I forced out. Each word scraped my throat. "There is no signal up here," Tyler said quickly. He pulled out his phone and waved it around like he was trying to catch a bar of service. "I will have to drive down to the main road." He turned to his wife. "Olivia, you stay with Mr. Walker." Their eyes met. I had seen that look before. In Iraq. In Afghanistan. In places where men smiled while selling you equipment they knew would fail under fire. The look of people watching a plan unfold exactly the way they had rehearsed it. "I will go with you," Olivia said fast. "He might need immediate transport. Your truck is bigger." "No," I growled through my teeth. "Stay? Both of you." "Mr. Walker, you are hurt. We need help." Olivia crouched beside me. She put her hand on my good shoulder. Then she pressed down. Not enough to look obvious. Just enough to make it harder to breathe. Just enough to keep me pinned. "Then go," I wheezed. "Get help. Now." Tyler hesitated. That is when it clicked. They had planned this for when we were alone. They would say Ethan slipped. I tried to save him and fell. A tragic accident on my own property. But with me conscious and watching them, they could not finish whatever they had started. 5 minutes, Tyler said. "I will be back in 5 minutes." He took off running toward the trucks parked about a quarter mile down the trail. Olivia stayed. Her face wore concern like a mask, but her eyes were flat and cold. "Just try to stay calm, Mr. Walker. Help is coming." Below us, Ethan groaned again. Still alive. I forced my mind to work through the pain. The rocky slope had caught him maybe 30 feet down. If he stayed conscious and held on, he had a chance. "We should try to get to him," I said, watching her carefully. "You are injured. We need professionals." "You could climb down," I said. "You are young. You are fit." "And risk falling myself?" "Mr. Walker, I know you are worried, but we have to be smart about this." Smart. That was what they thought they were being. Smart. They saw an old retired man who spent his days restoring vintage cars in rural Montana. A grandfather who taught his grandson how to rebuild engines and shape sheet metal. A man who kept to himself. They thought I had not noticed when Olivia pushed to be listed as beneficiary on Ethan's new life insurance policy. They thought I had not questioned it when the coverage amount quietly jumped to $2 million 6 months ago. They did not know that before I rebuilt carburetors, I rebuilt order in places where it had completely collapsed. They did not know that the quiet mechanic they smiled at every Sunday used to be Lieutenant Colonel Jack Walker, United States Army Intelligence. They did not know that the instincts that helped me find roadside bombs and dismantle insurgent networks do not simply disappear because a man turns in his uniform. And they definitely did not know about Ryan. "Olivia," I said. My voice was steady now. Pain can be managed. It can be boxed up and put on a shelf if you have enough practice. How long have you and Tyler been planning this? Her head snapped toward me. Excuse me. The railing. I saw the two of you up here this morning before Ethan and I arrived. You loosened the bolts. And Tyler shoved me. I felt his hand. You were confused. You hit your head. No, I did not. I broke my collarbone and probably some ribs. My head is clear. Her face hardened. You are sleeping with your boyfriend's business partner, I continued. You are the beneficiary on a $2 million life insurance policy, even though you are not married to Ethan. And you insisted on this hiking trip to my property, even after Ethan mentioned 3 times that he is afraid of heights. Her expression went blank. Carefully blank. You are in shock, she said evenly. You do not know what you are saying. I know exactly what I am saying. And I know Tyler is not driving for help. He is sitting in his truck right now. He will wait 20 minutes. Then he will come back and claim he could not get a signal. By then, Ethan will have lost his grip and fallen the rest of the way. And I will be disoriented from my injuries. Maybe I will not remember clearly. I looked her straight in the eye. That is the plan, is it not? She stood slowly. Her hand drifted toward her pocket. Looking for your phone? I asked. To call Tyler and tell him the old man figured it out? I should check on Ethan. Do not. I put command into my voice. The tone I used with young officers about to make fatal mistakes. Do not go near him. Do not move. Just stand there. She froze. People who have never lived under real authority do not know how to react when they suddenly hear it. From where I lay, I reached into my jacket with my right hand. The movement sent fire through my chest, but I swallowed the groan. My fingers found my phone. No signal. Tyler had told the truth about that part. It did not matter. I navigated to my contacts by memory, found the name I needed. Then I pressed a button I had hoped I would never use. The phone made a single sharp tone. No call connected. No message sent. Just that one tone. Olivia stared at me. What was that? Insurance, I said. My insurance policy. There is no signal. There does not need to be. I let my head rest back against the rock and closed my eyes for a moment. The device had been modified years ago. Ryan insisted on it when he gave it to me. The emergency beacon did not rely on cellular service. It ran on satellite. It did one thing and one thing only. It told Ryan exactly where I was, and that I needed help immediately. The first time he explained it, I laughed. I am retired, I told him. I live in Montana. I fix cars. What am I going to need emergency extraction for? Jack, he said, using the name only he gets to use that way. Trouble does not retire just because you do. Humor me. Ryan Mitchell. When we served together, he was Major Ryan Mitchell. He made colonel before he retired. Now he runs a private security consulting firm. That is the polite way of saying he solves problems for people who can afford discretion. We did 3 tours together. He saved my life in Mosul. I returned the favor in Afghanistan. When we both left the army, we stayed close. Brothers. Not by blood. By choice. Who did you call? Olivia asked. I could hear the strain in her voice now. A friend, I said. He will be here soon. You said there is no signal. There is not. Cellular signal, I said quietly, looking up at her. But there are other ways to communicate. I opened my eyes fully and studied her. Olivia was 26, maybe 27. Pretty in that polished way that comes from salon appointments and high-end skincare. Everything about her was maintained. Controlled. Calculated. Ethan had been so proud when he started dating her. My grandson really loved you, I said. You know that, right? Something moved across her face. It was quick. Maybe guilt. Maybe regret. It disappeared before I could lock it down. After his parents died, my son and daughter-in-law, I raised him. I continued. Did he ever tell you that? From the time he was 12, it was just the 2 of us. My throat tightened. I taught him everything. How to change oil. How to rebuild an engine from a bare block. How to weld clean beads. How to frame a house square and true. But more than that, I taught him how to be a good man. How to trust people. How to love without holding back. My voice cracked then, and that had nothing to do with broken ribs. And you used that. You saw a good man with skill and potential and a trusting heart, and you decided he was worth more dead than alive. That is not. We did not. She took a step back. From below, Ethan's voice drifted up, weak but alert. Olivia, help me. My leg is stuck. I think I can pull free if. Do not move. I shouted, and pain tore through my chest. Ethan, stay exactly where you are. Do not try to climb. Mr. Walker? Are you hurt? I am fine, I lied. Just stay put. That is right. Olivia called down sweetly. We called for help, Ethan. It is coming. I watched her face as she said it. She was doing math in her head, estimating how long Tyler would wait, how long until real help might show up, how long she could keep this performance going. Tell me something, I said quietly. Was any of it real? Did you ever actually care about him? She looked down at me. For a second, the mask slipped. What I saw underneath was not rage, not madness. It was worse. Indifference. Ethan had not been a person to her. He had been a stepping stone. He is boring, she said softly. Do you know what he talks about? Camshafts. Metal tolerances. His plan to open some custom garage. He is 28 years old and acts like he is 40. Her lip curled. Tyler has vision. We are going to move to California. Start a real company. Not some backwoods repair shop. With $2 million as startup capital, that changes everything. That is my grandson's life, I said. He will not feel anything, she replied. The fall will be quick. The coldness in her tone hit harder than the shove earlier. This was not passion, not desperation. This was bookkeeping. Ethan's life on one side, their ambition on the other. How did Tyler get involved? I asked. Keep her talking. Ryan would already be moving. The beacon would have triggered an alert. I knew how he operated. Aircraft within minutes. Ground teams within the hour. I just needed time. He was always involved, she said. We met at the gym. Started talking. Realized we wanted the same future. She smiled faintly. Ethan was the opportunity. Stable job. Easy to manipulate into a large insurance policy. Trusting. Too trusting. And if I had died in the fall? I asked. She shrugged. Tragic accident. You tried to save him and slipped. Very heroic. The funeral would have been touching. Footsteps crunched on gravel. Tyler was back. He took in the scene. Me on the ground. Olivia standing over me. He gave her a small nod. No signal anywhere, he announced loudly. We are going to have to drive to the ranger station. About 40 minutes round trip. 40 minutes? I repeated. And by the time you get back? I let the sentence hang. He gave me a sympathetic look. Hopefully your grandson can hang on that long. But accidents like this, people go into shock. They lose their grip. There is only so much anyone can do. You shoved me, I said flatly. He blinked. What? When Ethan fell, you pushed me. I felt your hand. Mr. Walker, you lost your balance trying to help. I was 5 feet from the edge. I did not lose my balance. You pushed me. And earlier, you loosened the railing. I saw you and Olivia up here this morning. I came early to scout the trail. I saw your truck. Watched you from the ridge with binoculars. They exchanged a look. The act was cracking. Actually, Tyler said slowly. It might take longer than 40 minutes. These remote areas, communication is complicated. Could be hours. Hours, Olivia echoed. Anything can happen in hours. There it was. They were not going to wait. They were going to finish it themselves. Last chance, I said. Walk away. Get in your truck and drive. I will forget this ever happened. Tyler laughed. Forget? You just accused us of attempted murder. You think we can just leave? I think you have no idea who you are dealing with. You are an old man with a broken shoulder in the middle of nowhere. I know exactly who I am dealing with. Then you are dumber than you look. His face darkened. He stepped toward me, fists tight. Olivia caught his arm. We need to check on Ethan, she said. Make sure he does not slip. They moved toward the edge. I tried to sit up. My body refused. The pain in my ribs had spread. Breathing felt like dragging glass into my lungs. Broken ribs for sure. Maybe worse. Ethan, I yelled. They are coming to kill you. Do not let them near you. Fight. Tyler spun around. Shut up. He crossed the distance in 3 long strides and kicked me in the ribs. Everything went white. For a second, I think I blacked out. When my vision cleared, he was crouched over me. Here is what is going to happen, he said casually. You are going to lie here quietly while we check on poor Ethan. We will try to help him. But tragically, he will lose his grip. Terrible accident. He leaned closer. And you? You will be too injured and in too much shock to stop us. By the time we get back with help, you will be unconscious. Traumatic memory loss. Happens all the time. Tyler, I rasped. You are making a mistake. No, you did. You should have stayed out of it. Should have been grateful we were taking your grandson off your hands. He stood. Now you are going to watch him die, and there is nothing you can do. He turned back toward the cliff. Olivia was already peering down. Ethan, she called sweetly, we are coming to help you, baby. Just hang on. From below, Ethan answered, relief in his voice. Olivia, thank God. I am stuck. My leg is wedged between rocks. If you can get a rope, we can figure this out. They were going to do it right in front of me. Make me listen. Make me watch. And I could not move. Decades of training. Combat tours. Surviving things most people never see. None of it mattered if I could not get off the ground. Unless. Ryan knew. But even moving fast, he could still be too far away. I needed something now. My phone was still in my hand. No cellular service. That did not matter. Before we left town that morning, when I stopped to pick up supplies, I had done one more thing. Ryan taught me to prepare for the worst a long time ago. I had learned my lessons well. Always have a backup plan, Ryan used to tell me. And then have another backup in case that one fails. While Tyler and Olivia had been at my place loading Ethan's hiking gear into their truck, I drove into town. I went straight to the sheriff's office. I asked to speak with Deputy Aaron Miller. I had known him since he was a skinny high school kid mowing lawns in the summer. Good kid. Honest. When he came out, I told him I was probably being foolish. Said I was just an old man worrying too much. But I explained that something about this hiking trip did not sit right with me. Ethan's girlfriend pushing hard for a remote trail. Her business partner tagging along. The location far from cell service. I am sure it is nothing, I told him. Just an old man's nerves. But if you do not hear from me by noon, would you mind swinging by the Northridge trailhead? Just to check? He smiled in that polite, slightly patronizing way young officers do. Of course, Mr. Walker. I will head that way if you do not check in. No problem. He thought he was humoring me. That was fine. Now, lying on the rocks with broken ribs grinding in my chest, I checked the time on my phone. 11:47 in the morning. In 13 minutes, if I did not make contact, Deputy Miller would start heading our way. But 13 minutes was a lifetime. Ethan did not have that long. My phone had no cellular signal. But it had one more feature. Another piece of redundancy Ryan insisted on years ago. A short-range emergency radio transmitter built into the hardware. Strong enough to reach law enforcement or emergency services within several miles, even without cellular coverage. I pulled the phone out again. My hands were shaking, but I managed to open the application. Then I pressed the button. A piercing alarm exploded from the device. Not a ringtone. An emergency distress tone that automatically broadcast on law enforcement, fire, and search and rescue frequencies. Anyone with an emergency radio within range would hear it, including Deputy Miller, if he was anywhere near the northern end of the county. Tyler spun around. What the hell is that? Emergency beacon, I said through blood in my mouth. I must have bitten my tongue when he kicked me. Broadcasting our exact global positioning system coordinates. Every deputy, every ranger, every responder within 50 miles just got pinged. His face drained of color. Shut it off. I cannot. Once activated, it runs until emergency services acknowledge it. Could be minutes. Could be longer. But they are coming now. Olivia grabbed his arm. We need to leave. Now. We cannot just leave. Yes, we can, she snapped. We have not done anything yet. He fell. His grandfather fell trying to save him. We went for help. That is the story. But if we are here when deputies arrive. Tyler looked from her to me, then toward the cliff. I could see him calculating. Could they finish it fast enough? Could they push Ethan, make sure I did not survive, and still get away before law enforcement arrived? Then we all heard it. An engine. Faint at first. Growing louder. A truck moving fast on the access road. Tyler grabbed Olivia's hand. Come on. They ran. I heard boots pounding down the trail. Brush snapping as they cut through toward their parked truck. A door slam. An engine revving hard. Gravel spraying. They were gone. I let my head fall back against the rock. Every breath felt like knives. But Ethan was still alive. The engine's sound grew louder again. This time from the opposite direction. Within 3 minutes, Deputy Miller's patrol truck came into view, emergency lights flashing. He jumped out before the truck fully stopped, radio already in his hand. Mr. Walker, I got your distress signal. What happened? My grandson, I forced out. Over the edge. Caught on rocks. Alive. Hurry. He did not waste another second. He was already calling it in, requesting fire and rescue, emergency medical, a helicopter if necessary. He pulled a rope from his truck, secured it, and began lowering himself down the slope before I could even give him the full story. 2 minutes later, his voice echoed up. I have him. He is alive, leg trapped, but conscious. I closed my eyes. My job was done. Ethan was safe. The rest would follow. 3 hours later, I was in a hospital bed. Diagnosis: broken collarbone, for broken ribs, one cracked rib, and a possible punctured lung. They kept me overnight for observation. Ethan was 2 rooms down. Broken leg, fractured ankle, cuts and bruises, but alive, conscious, safe. Deputy Miller took my statement. I told him everything. The loosened railing, Tyler shoving me, the insurance policy, their admission, the plan. He issued a statewide alert. Tyler and Olivia were stopped at the Idaho border, trying to flee. At 8 o'clock that evening, Ryan walked into my hospital room. He looked the same as 6 months earlier when I last saw him. 52 years old, lean and solid, gray creeping into his close-cut hair, jeans and a leather jacket, but he still moved like he was in uniform. Jack, he said, pulling a chair close. You pressed the button. Yeah. You all right? I will be. Your grandson? Alive. Deputy Miller got there fast. Ryan nodded. I had a helicopter airborne 40 minutes after the beacon activated. By the time we landed, local law enforcement had the scene secured. I spoke to the deputy. Good instincts. You did not have to come. Yes, I did. You pressed the button. That means you needed me. He leaned forward. Tell me everything. So I did. I told him about discovering the life insurance policy while helping Ethan with his taxes. $2 million. Olivia listed as sole beneficiary. I told him about my suspicions. About seeing her and Tyler together too often. About catching them tampering with the railing earlier that morning when I scouted the trail. I explained how I set up the check-in with Deputy Miller as a precaution. You knew, Ryan said quietly when I finished. Before you went up there, you knew they might try something. I suspected, was not certain. But after decades of reading people, spotting deception, you learn to trust your instincts. A 28-year-old mechanic does not suddenly need $2 million in coverage. Not with a girlfriend as beneficiary when they are not married. So you set a trap. I set safety nets, I corrected him. There is a difference. I hoped I was wrong. But if I was not, I wanted someone coming if things went bad. He studied me for a long moment. You want them handled? He asked. I knew what he meant. Ryan's company did not just consult. They solved problems quietly when official channels were not enough. No, I said firmly. This goes through the system. Deputy Miller has their admissions on body camera. They will be prosecuted. They tried to kill your grandson, he said. They tried to kill you. I know, but they are not professionals. They are greedy and stupid. They will turn on each other in interrogation. The courts will handle it. Ryan nodded slowly. You are a better man than me. No, I am just an old man who wants his grandson to see justice done the right way. I have lived in dark places. I do not want that to be the lesson he takes from this. I shifted in the bed and winced. We have both done things outside the lines, I said. I do not want that to be his example. He is 28, Ryan said. He is grown. He is 28 with a broken leg and a broken heart. He just learned the woman he loved tried to cash him in for money. He needs to see that good still wins. That laws matter. Ryan gave a faint smile. When did you get so philosophical? Around the time I started raising a 12-year-old boy, I said. That changes a man. A knock sounded at the door. A nurse stepped in. Mr. Walker, your grandson is asking for you. Can I see him? We will wheel you down. You should not be walking yet. 10 minutes later, I was sitting beside Ethan's hospital bed. His leg was in a cast, elevated. His face was pale and scratched, but his eyes were clear. Grandpa, he said, his voice breaking. Tyler and Olivia, I know the deputy told you. Yeah, Ethan said, staring up at the ceiling. I cannot believe it. I mean, when you yelled down to me, I believed you. But hearing them admit it to the deputies. His voice faded. She was going to kill me for insurance money. Like I was just an object, not a person, not someone she lived with for 3 years. I am sorry, son. Do not be sorry, he said quickly. You saved my life. If you had not been suspicious, if you had not set up that backup plan with Deputy Miller. He turned his head and looked at me. How did you know? I did not know. I suspected. And I learned a long time ago to trust my instincts and prepare for the worst case. From the army? Yeah, from the army. He was quiet for a moment. There is something I do not understand, he said. When I was stuck on that cliff, I heard you yelling. I heard Olivia and Tyler talking. They were discussing how long it would take help to arrive. But then suddenly they ran. What changed? I activated an emergency beacon, I said. And I had already arranged for Deputy Miller to check on us if I did not call in. When the beacon went off, they realized time had run out. You planned all of that? I planned for the possibility. He studied me. Who are you, really? I know you are my grandfather. I know you served. But the beacon, the backup plans, the way you stayed calm when they were about to kill you, that is not normal. I had known this conversation would come one day. I just did not expect it in a hospital room. Before I retired and started restoring cars, I said slowly, I worked in Army intelligence. I operated in places you have seen on the news. I learned how to read people, how to detect lies, how to plan for contingencies. He listened without interrupting. When I left the service and your parents died, I tried to bury that part of my life. I wanted to be just your grandfather, a man who teaches you engines and welding and how to run a shop. But you could not leave it behind, he said. No, some instincts stay with you. When I started noticing things about Olivia, I could not ignore them. You investigated. I paid attention, and when the pattern looked bad, I prepared. You have a friend who can send helicopters. I have a friend named Ryan who runs a private security firm. We serve together. When I pressed the beacon, he mobilized his team. They were coming, but Deputy Miller beat them to it. Ethan leaned back, thinking. That time last year, he said slowly, when those two guys tried to rob the shop, you did not just scare them off. I came back from the parts run, and they were on the floor crying. They pulled a gun on me, I said. I disarmed them. Both of them. At your age. I am 68, not fragile. And they were not trained. I reached over with my good hand and gripped his. Ethan, I need you to hear this. I raised you to be kind, to trust people, to lead with your heart. I do not regret that. But you also need awareness. Not paranoia. Awareness. Olivia, he said bitterly. She betrayed you. That is on her. But you have to learn to notice when things do not add up. How do I do that without turning into someone who trusts nobody? I smiled. I am not paranoid. I am prepared. Paranoia means seeing enemies everywhere. Preparation means understanding that danger exists and having a plan while still living your life. He squeezed my hand. Thank you for being prepared. You are welcome. Then I looked him in the eye. This is not over. There will be a trial. You will testify. You will have to face her. I can do it. I know. 6 months later, I stood in the back of the courtroom while the jury delivered the verdict. Tyler Brooks and Olivia Carter. Guilty on all counts. Attempted murder. Insurance fraud. Criminal conspiracy. Together, they faced decades behind bars. Ethan sat in the front row, leg healed, posture straight. He testified for 2 full days. Calm. Precise. When the defense tried to suggest he was careless or somehow involved, he shut that down with timelines and facts that left no room for doubt. He had learned. He still had a good heart, but now there was steel behind it. After sentencing, we walked out into the afternoon light. Ryan was leaning against his car. Can I buy you two a drink? He asked. I think we earned one, I said. At the bar, Ryan lifted his glass. To preparation. To survival, Ethan added. To family, I finished. We drank. Later, after Ryan left, Ethan looked at me. Are you going to teach me? He asked. Teach you what? The other stuff. Threat assessment. Situational awareness. Self-defense. All of it. Why? Because twice now I needed it. And I do not want a third time where I am not ready. He hesitated. And because it is part of you. You taught me engines and business. I want to know the rest of who you are. I studied him. He was 29 now. Hardened by experience, but not hardened in spirit. All right, I said. But we do it my way. You keep your heart. You learn the skills without losing yourself. Deal. Deal. We start tomorrow. Ryan will help. But promise me something. What? Use what you learn to protect. Not to punish. To prevent harm. Not to cause it. He held out his hand. I promise. 2 years later, Ryan called. He needed someone for an entry-level position at his firm. Mechanical aptitude. Clear head. Steady temperament. I gave him Ethan's number. 6 months after that, Ethan walked into my shop wearing tactical gear. Leaner, stronger, confident. First assignment? I asked. Corporate security detail in a high-risk area. Intense, but good. I identified 2 potential threats early and redirected the client. No incidents. That is the goal, I said. Prevention beats reaction. He nodded. I have been thinking about the cliff, he said. About how you prepared. And I realized something. What is that? You did not just save my life that day. You saved it years before. By raising me to be worth saving. By showing me how to be strong without being cruel. My throat tightened. You turned out all right, I said. I had a good teacher. He grinned. So, when are you going to let me teach you about modern engines? All this electric vehicle stuff you do not trust. I do not distrust them, I said. I evaluate them carefully. That sounds like paranoia. That sounds like preparation. We both laughed. Outside, the Montana sunset painted the mountains gold and purple. The shop sat quiet and steady, peaceful on the surface. But underneath that peace was something stronger. Not fear, not suspicion, preparation. Because if trouble ever came again, we would be ready.